All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back. Hopefully you can see what is going on here. All right. Now, first off, those of you guys that are on Facebook Live, can you see the Zoom on Facebook Live? Can you see us?
Right. All of us are showing.
All of us are showing.
Right.
Okay. Now, if I come over here and I share, oh, wait, hold on. I don't need to probably share my screen. Hold on. Yes, I do. No, I probably don't. Hold on one second. So if I come out of this and I actually just come up to here, can you guys see that?
Just a slight delay. Broadcast got interrupted again.
So you can't see that. You can't see that chart.
Something wanted to come up, but it stopped. Okay, hold on one sec. Okay, yep, I see your chart.
Oh, you did see the chart.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, shoot. Okay, let me go back. It just takes a little minute, I guess, for it to kind of read it. Hold on. Let me minimize this. Let's come back up to the chart. Okay, can you see the chart?
Okay, now I see the chart and I see your picture because whoever is talking, of course, that's who shows up.
Okay.
So you mute out everybody and just show your picture, and we should be good to go.
Okay, fabulous. Wonderful. Okay, so let me, hold on. Now let me know if you can, hold on. Guys, I appreciate you bearing with us while we figure this out. We're learning, right? This is how you learn. You just gotta go. Just gotta kind of do it yourself and see what happens, right? Okay, hold on. Let me pull the Zoom back up so I can find, hold on. How do I find myself? Hold on.
Just look.
I lost myself. Okay, there's myself and you guys too. All right. Okay, so you can see me, right, Dion?
Yes, I see the picture over in the top right corner.
Okay, so now I'm going to, when I'm minimizing, you can just mute yourself out, but let me, okay. So you see me and you see the chart now.
Of course, there's a slight delay, so give it about 10 seconds.
Okay.
Yep, good to go.
All right, we did it. We did it. We did it. We did it. Thank you so much, guys. It's called Teamwork Makes the Dream Work. All right. So guys, listen, if you were on with us a couple seconds ago before our broadcast got disconnected, what we're doing is, oops, hold on. What we're doing is we wanted to kind of come on and just share a little bit about what it is that we're doing with our trading. Okay, this is not about any particular amount of money. This is not about any of that. What this really is about is kind of chart analysis a little bit. And something that I shared before we got disconnected as well was this. There, in my opinion, there's three different types of phases that you can be in as a trader getting started. The first phase is you don't know how to analyze charts and you don't know how to find trade setups, right? So you don't know what trade to get in, what pair to get in, you don't know how to find them, how to look for them. And then even if you had them, you don't even know how to analyze the charts. So that complete newbie phase is why tools like swipe trades and things like that are extremely powerful, because it allows you to earn while you learn. You're able to take the signals from the master traders that come through, and then you can just place the trades. Now, mind you, you are kind of just placing the trades blind because you don't know what you're doing. It's copy and paste, right? You know how to copy, you know how to paste, and you have the ability to profit. But the recommendation that I have is that if you're going to do that, right, as you're learning, and this is what I did, completely brand new. I'm not suggesting that you do something that I haven't myself done. What I did was that I just had an account a little bit larger so that I could take every single trade that came through on the swipe trades, because you don't know which ones are good and you don't know which ones may not be so good. So you just take them all. What I did was that I just had an account a little bit larger so that I could take every single trade that came through. Every single trade that. I'm trying to make sure I watch the live so that I don't lose myself in what we're doing. All right. So I can see what you guys see. So you take every single trade and then you have an account with proper risk management, then you should still be able to have a profit. You're going to win some trades and you're going to lose some trades, but you should ultimately still win more than you lose. Okay. That's kind of the whole premise behind it all. So with that being said, that's phase one. Then what happens is you kind of start shifting into phase two. And with phase two, what happens is you still might not know how to find the trade setups. Like you can't look at a blank chart and then just come up and say, oh my goodness, this looks like this might be a potential trade setup. But if you were able to get a signal from somewhere, or you were able to get a swipe trade, what would happen is that you could at least do some chart analysis to identify whether or not this particular trade is something that you want to play ball with. All right. Your choice. But at least in phase two, you have a little bit of chart analysis on your side. Okay. Now, phase three ultimately is you know how to find the trade setups, and you know how to do your own chart analysis. All right. So in either of those cases, what happens is that you're at a different level in the game. All right. So completely brand new. You don't know any charts. You don't know any trade setups. You take swipe trades, have enough in your trading balance where you can take every single trade and use proper risk management. Okay. That's number one. Phase two, you don't know how to find the trades, but you can analyze, which means that at least if you get a trade, you can decide whether you want to get in it or not. And then phase three is you can find your own trades. And of course, you can do your own chart analysis and mark up your charts. All right. So what I wanted to do this morning, and we're very fortunate to have one of my mentors on when it comes down to trading, Mr. Curtis Cobain Branch. He just jumped on because he's at home and he's like, hey, let's serve the people a little bit. And we were on and he jumped on. And so he's going to share something exciting. If you guys stay to the end and you listen, you definitely want to hear what Curtis has to say, because I learned a lot of stuff from Curtis, and he happens to be one of the IML educators on the crypto side of things. But don't get it twisted. Curtis taught us all types of stuff as it relates to Forex. So he's not like a crypto wizard and knows nothing about Forex. No, he knows Forex too, but he's learned the crypto game as well and brings a lot of value to our crypto educational platform. So he's going to be sharing some things with you guys as well. And so you're going to get a good dose of information here today. We're starting a little bit late because we get to figure out the technical things that's going on, but maybe about an hour, if that, whatever. I'll do my best to kind of go quickly with this, and then we'll kind of just go from there. All right. So here's what I do. So because I'm in phase two, right? I'm in phase two. I can find some trade setups right now because I've got some strategies that I've learned where I can identify a trade setup or a pattern where I say, okay, this is one that I want to take. But a lot of times what I'm doing at this point is I'm just practicing my chart analysis. I'm practicing my ability to have precise entry points and things of that sort, when to get in, when to get out. I'm practicing that. And so what I do is I love to just take swipe trades, and I love to take signals from other master traders and just come to my chart, mark it up, and see how everything equates. All right. So what I wanted to do this morning, we had a signal that came out this morning that was on the GBP USD. Okay, the GBP USD. And so I decided that I was going to take this trade. Okay. And but I will tell you that sometimes when you get trades, like even from swipe trades, it gives you the entry point. It tells you where you should get in the trade. Oh, somebody muted me. Let me unmute my audio. Okay, there we go. Can you guys hear me? Hopefully you can still hear me. So what swipe trades will give you is the entry point. It'll tell you where to get in the trade. It'll tell you where you should take your profit, where you should get out. And it'll also give you what's called a stop loss, which means that if the trade goes the opposite direction that you want, where you should get out so that you don't, run the risk of blowing an account. You're only willing to risk so much. In other words, you're only willing to lose so much. So it gives you those 3 points. Okay. And so what happens is, what I like to do is I like to look at the trade when it comes out. I like to look at those price points, and I like to come to my chart and analyze. And my goal is about mindset. My goal is, can I see what this trader sees. If the person sent out the signal, they see something. And my goal is to try to see what it is they see. And maybe I might see something different. That's the cool thing about trading, is that different people will see different things, but roughly, you know, everyone can still be successful as long as you're seeing it in the right direction, right? So the trade this morning I'm going to kind of talk about is GBP USD, right? So this is the chart. You can see that I already kind of have it marked up. And that's because I try to have my charts marked up already, right? Because I've done GBP before, like you can see some stuff I've got. So what I'm going to do to make this really, really simple and really, really easy, guys, is I am going to take all of my stuff off, and I'll just remark up my chart, right? Because that's just what you got to do, so I can show you. So I'm going to remove all my drawing tools. Boom, there we are. So nice, clean chart. All you can do is just see, just the candles, right? And the candles are representing price going up in price, or the candles are representing price going up, a price going down, okay? So ideally, the trade came out, and what I like to do is I like to mark up my charts on either the daily or the 4-hour charts, right? Because you can see better. You can see, it's like if you're in an airplane, and I'm looking down on the city of Atlanta, I can see more of the city of Atlanta in an airplane. But if I were just standing on the roof of my building, I can still see some of Atlanta, but I can't see as much of it, right? I can't see as much of it. So the daily and the 4-hour is like you're in an airplane, and I can see more of the market, right? I can see, this is the 4-hour. I can see, look at all this I can see. And every single candle, each green candle, each red candle represents 4 hours of the day. So it took 4 hours for this green candle to do that, right? It took 4 hours for this red candle to come down like that as well, okay? So 4-hour chart, sometimes the daily chart, just kind of depends, right? So this is the daily chart for the GBP USD, right? So this is kind of what I can see. And overall, the first thing that I look for, like if you were to write down these 3 steps, right? We kind of made a little joke about it. We were in Vegas, Kurt, and we did a little training session in one of our team members' hotel rooms, and we came up with a little thing. We call it Trendline, Fibs, and Sandwich. Make a sandwich, and then it's time to eat, right? Once you make your sandwich, it's time to eat. So here what we can do is you can see on the daily chart, guys, you can see that overall this trend is going up. In other words, you can see higher highs and higher lows, right? So here's a high. The next high is around here, right? Which is higher than this high. Then here's the low. The next low is here, right? Which is higher than this low. And so it's like a stair step, right? It's like a stair step essentially. So we're getting higher highs and higher lows, which is indicated this is an uptrend, right? An uptrend. So I just like to identify what direction the trend is going in. And so what I would do is I'll come over here to my little tools, I'll get a trend line, and I will just draw. And I mean, you can draw it from down here if you want, you can draw whatever, but just gotta remember, this is daily, right? This is daily. And so for the sake of it, you know, way back here, do I really need to look at it for March of 2017? I can see if you look at that at the bottom, right down here, you see my crosshair. At the bottom, it says 3/15/2017, right? Well, I'm over here in March of 2018, right? So do I really need to, I can see that trend is going up, right? So for me, I'm just gonna try to stay closer to where we are. So I might just grab a trend line and I might just, you know, do something like this, right? And so I learned this little phrase from Kurt, right? 1, 2, go straight through, right? 1, 2, go straight through. All right, and there we are. All right, so I've got a little trend line going on here, right? Now, could you draw it a different type of way? Of course you could. I mean, because you got to remember it's about timing. So before any of this, hold on, let me move that away. Before any of this price action took place, the trend may have been different, right? The trend may have been more like this, right? It may have been more like this. It's probably even a little bit more accurate, right? There, okay? So, you could very easily have done a trend line like this, because some people get caught up in this, right? And to me, it's you don't want to get so caught up in that. Could you have done like this, right? Yeah, like fine, right? 1, 2, go straight through, essentially. So I don't know if you guys can see. Let me kind of make this bigger. Let me make this bigger. Hold on. And then you can kind of see what I'm talking about here, right? So you can see that all I did really was I connected. All I'm doing is connecting the lines. So these little wicks here, the candles are the big bodies, right? The rectangular looking things. And the little lines that are sticking at the bottom or the top, those are called wicks. So what I'm doing is I'm taking my trend line and I'm connecting the wicks to each other. So 1 wick, 2 wicks, you kind of go straight through with the whole scenario, right? And you're good. So this big line, you can see I connected, I started down here with these wicks and it touched this wick here. It even touched this wick here and then just went straight through like that. Okay. Then I came here, did a little bit more of a refined trend line. So it touched this wick here and then it touched this wick here and then it went straight through. All right. So this is the daily chart. So as we can see, the price is starting to move down. It's in a bearish trend, right? You can see that here, and you can see it in the price action as well. So that gives me a good idea of what the overall trend is doing, and where price is right now. Okay. So then what I'll do is I'll come down to the 4-hour chart, right? So now I've got my airplane view. So now let me kind of come down a little bit and let me kind of just see what's going on with, a little bit lower, right? A little bit zoomed in. I'm a little bit zoomed in, essentially, is what's happening, right? So now that I'm zoomed in, guys, I can see that this price is starting to fall, right? We can see that. But we're still in an uptrend, right? In fact, the price was here and it kind of broke down below this trend line here, but we're still at a point where it potentially could come down to this trend line. So we're just keeping an eye, right? So from here, what I like to do is I like to draw my Fibonacci's, right? I like to draw my Fibonacci's. All right. So what I'm doing from here is now I'm looking at, okay, where was like the last swing low? Let me kind of make this a little bit like this, right? So where was like the last swing low? Okay. And guys, this is what I'm talking about. The differences. This is a matter of how you see things. This is all about how you can perceive the market. It can definitely vary depending on how you see things. Okay. But you can do your fibs from the daily chart. You can do your fibs from the 4-hour chart as well, right? It's completely up to you. All right. So actually, I think I'm going to go back to the daily chart for my fibs. Okay. Because it's a little bit easier to see it. Hold on. Let me kind of make this better. You can see the swing a little. And when I say the swing, I'm talking about the point at which the price, okay, the part at which the price had a low and then had a high, right? So it was high here and it came down to this low, right? Then it didn't go any lower. From this low, it started to go all the way back up. And then once it got up here, it didn't get any higher. It turned around and started to come all the way back down. So I like to draw my fibs from where it was the low to the high, or where it was the high to the low. In this case, we had a previous low right here, and this was our most recent high. So I'm going to grab my Fibonacci tool over here. Grab my Fibonacci tool over here. And I am going to go from this level, okay, up to this level. Now, guys, if you're looking at my crosshairs, don't worry about the X. You see the X, right? Don't worry about the X. What you're looking at is the line. If you see that straight line to the left of the X, the dotted line to the right of the X, I'm lining that up on the top of the candles, right? So you can see I'm making this a straight line right here. It doesn't have to touch it. It can touch it like this, but it doesn't matter. All I'm looking for is it to line up like that. So I want that line up here. I want this straight line to be lined up with the top of those candles. And then I want down here, same thing. I want this straight line to be lined up with the bottom of the wick, the top of this wick and the bottom of the wick, okay? So now that I have this, I'm not gonna get into a whole bunch of detail about this, but guys, just know these are like some of your major levels is what we call them. Major levels, like major levels of support and resistance. Major levels of support and resistance. And so on my chart, you guys are seeing me. This is what I do every day. If I don't have a chart marked up and I see a swipe trade or I see a signal come in, I take the time to do this. Now, I can do it pretty fast because I've been doing it a little bit now, but because I'm showing you, it's time to take a little bit of time because I'm explaining as I'm going along as well, okay? So the first thing I do is I go to my daily or my 4-hour chart and I find the trend line. That's step number one, find the trend. Is the trend going, is it bullish going up or is it bearish going down? You need to know that, okay? From an overall perspective, up or down. I draw the trend line. The second thing I do is I go get my Fibonacci tool and I find my major levels of support and resistance. Okay, the major levels. So once I see that, then you guys can see this is a 1. This says 0.786. This one says, you can't see it behind that green candle, but it's 0.618. This one is 0.5 for 50%. This is 0.38. This is 0.32. And that's 0. So what this really means, guys, is that the price went from the bottom to the top, and that as it began to come down, it could come back down 23% of the whole move, right? From here to here is the whole move. If this from here to here is 100%, and it came down to here, that's 23% of the pie, right? If it came down here, that's 38% of the pie. If it came to this line, now it's in the middle. It came back down 50% of the pie. Here, it came down 61%. Here, 78%. And then here, it's back 100%. So the price was here. It went all the way up. And if it came all the way back down, it would have come down 100%, obviously, right? It went up and came back to where it started. So these are some of the major levels. So what I like to do is I like to actually put the lines on my chart that match these levels. All right. So I'll come over here and I will grab horizontal line, and you can pick whatever color you want. I like white. Okay, for this, because I have my own little mental color coding system. It's pretty and makes it look good the way I like my chart to look. You can make your chart to look the way you want your chart to look. Okay, so I'll just come here and I'll just match up the line with these lines of these levels, right? So at this 0 here, I'm going to put my white line. Right? I'm going to get another white line. I'm going to put it right here at this 23.6. Oops, hold on. Get the line, put it here at the 23.6, right? Okay. Then I'm going to go get another line and I'm going to put it at the 38. I'm going to get another line. I'm going to put it at the 50. I'm going to get another line and I'm going to put it at the 61.8. I'm going to go get another line and I'm going to put it at the 78.6. Now I'm going to get another line. I'm going to put it at the base. So this is my support. This is my main support. And this is my main resistance, right? So support is a floor. Like if you're walking on the floor is supporting you, right? Just think about that. It's supporting you. Okay. You're sitting in the chair. It's supporting you. But if you're trying to push up, against the ceiling, that's the ceiling is resisting. It's resisting your pushing up. So that's the ceiling. So, you can say ceilings, you resist at the ceilings and you support at the floor. Okay. That's kind of how it goes. Now, a key thing about trading is this: you sell at the resistance, right? Where you can't push through going up, then you sell because you're going to come down. And where you're at the floor, you can't go any lower, so you're going to buy. So you buy the support and you sell the resistance. All right. So you keep that in your mind, you're good to go. So this Fibonacci already is telling you, here's the floor, here's the ceiling, right? In this particular case, here's the floor, here's the ceiling. So what are we going to do? We're going to sell at the ceiling. If we were down here, we might be looking to buy. Okay. So this is the way that I mark it up initially. All right. So this is on the daily chart because it's nice, crisp, and clean. I can see what's going on. So now what I'll do is I will come over to the 4-hour chart, right? Because now I can, like I said, now I can kind of zoom in a little bit and I can see my levels a little bit. Hopefully you guys can see this. I'm trying to zoom in for you as well. Okay. So you can see this in here. Okay, so this is what we're dealing with right here. This is current price action. I'm not so much looking at this over here because that's done, right? We're over here, all right? So now I'm looking at this. Now, what I've noticed is that although you have these major levels of support and resistance, you have other levels of support and resistance, okay? And sometimes price likes to hover around those areas as well, okay? So before I show you those, I want to highlight a very, very basic principle that I think you should understand, all right, with trading. This is, and look, I did a post the other day, guys. Those of you guys on the Zoom, I did a post the other day and I was like, hey, who wants to, if I were to do a naked Forex training, who would come? And some people actually thought that I was saying I was going to train Forex naked, right? I'm like, y'all, get your head out the gutter. That's what it's called. It's called naked Forex, right? So I don't know what these people were thinking about, but at any rate, guys, this is naked, right? This is virtually no indicators on here. I mean, this is a RSI, a stochastic down here, but we're not looking at that right at this moment, right? We're just dealing with the price action. And when you're dealing with the price action, it's called naked, all right? So this is naked chart analysis, all right? So at any rate, what I think some very basic principles are, or one of the most basic principle is that when you have these different levels, and these trend lines, you have to understand that price is going to work its way to the trend line, to the major support resistance levels. And if it finds a way to break through that trend line or that major level of support and resistance, then it's going to break through. It's going to break. Like, for example, right here, right? This red candle, boom, this breakout candle came down. And what did it do? It closed it below that trend line. So break means closed. Closed means that candle is done. It's not still moving. Like this current candle, it's still moving, right? And you can see over here, we have another hour and 49 minutes before this candle stops moving. So this green candle next to it, though, has already stopped moving, all right? And so when you say break doesn't mean that it breaks and it just, like right here, this red candle, it has crossed over this white line, this major level. It's crossed over, but it has not broken it in the standpoint that it has not closed below it yet. It may not, right? You don't always know, but the idea is you wait for a candle to close. You don't jump into trades during the middle of an indicating type of candle. You wait until it closes. So here, this candle came down, it stopped moving, and the next 4 hours started with this candle. But this candle right here, it broke this trend line and it closed, all right? So it broke. That's the key phrase, broke. It broke the trend line. The second part of that is that now it does something where it's called a retest, right? So there's a break. It breaks a level or it breaks a trend line and it closes underneath or it closes above it. Okay. If it's selling, it's closing below. If you're buying or if the price is going up, it's closing above it. All right. And then it's going to retest. So in other words, it came down, it fell below this trend line, right? And then what did it do? It went back up. You see that little wick right there? It went back up to the trend line and touched it, right? So it broke below it. Then it went back up and touched it, right? Then it came back down. Then what did it do? Then it went back up and it closed above that trend line, right? So now it's going the opposite direction. So now it closed above the trend line. What's it going to do? It's going to turn around. It's going to retest. It's going to touch it again, which it did, right? In this red candle. So it went up, it closed, it turned around, it came down, it touched, right? Then what happened? Well, it closed below the line again, right? I don't know if you guys can see that based on my analysis, right? Based on the way my chart is drawn up, you guys can see it closed below the line again, right? But then it turned around, it went up, and it closed above the line this time. All right. So now it's closing above the line. What are we waiting for it to do? Turn around and retest. Okay. But now right here, it didn't really come down and touch the line yet. Right. But then in that next candle, it did. It came down, it crossed over, and it broke the trend line one last time. Right. So when it broke below, what do we need for it to do? We need for it to come back over and retest. Right. So whenever it breaks a trend line, whenever it breaks a level, we want it to break. You wait. You wait. You don't get in just because it broke. You don't know what it's going to do. For example, it broke here. And if you had have gotten in here, then you would have been in a sale, which would have been okay for a little while. Right. But then what did it do? It came all the way down. It pulled all the way back up, and then it turned around and it went back up again. Right. So you wait. OK, so it broke here and then you wait. Right. For the retest. So it retested. OK, great. Now that it retests, now you can get in. So there's a thing that says no retest, no entry. If the price does not retest, if it does not come back and touch the same area that it just broke, then you don't get in. You wait until it does that. Why? Because that's the pattern of the market. That's what it does over and over and over and over and over. It breaks a level, it breaks a trend line, it turns around, it comes back up and retests. Now, does it always immediately retest? No. Sometimes it might take a while for it to come back and retest. Sometimes. So that means you have to be patient. Okay. Some of you guys don't have patience. So you're just jumping in trades. And that's not always the best thing to do. But you have to have patience. So no retest, no entry. That's in my trading plan. Now, whether you exercise that or not, I don't know, but I do. Okay. So in fact, Kurt, really quick, I can't see you because I'm doing this, but if you want to unmute and jump out from a professional's perspective, is what I'm saying making sense? Would you recommend that people wait for the retest before they get in, sir? What would you say?
Can you guys hear me?
We hear you.
100% yes. You have to always wait for that retest, because what typically happens is you get into a trade, you're excited, you see the market moving, you're not thinking from an analysis standpoint, and then you automatically just think, oh, I'm getting in, I'm gonna miss out, because a lot of times when you're trading, that impatience starts to kick in. You've been analyzing this thing, you've marked it up, you're ready to get in right now, you want to profit right now, and you immediately just jump in. You don't let the candle close. Like you said, you have to get a confirmation by the candle close, because this whole entire thing of Forex is built off of the patient people taking money from the impatient people. Okay, this is just a transfer of money from accounts. The patient people take the money from the impatient. So once you're patient and you understand that this is a part of actual trading, you have to wait for candles to close. You have to wait for that confirmation. We want to get a certain thing called confluence, and that's just a certain amount of confirmations for us to enter a trade. Okay, we treat every trade almost like a business transaction. We won't get in unless it's a win-win for our account, period. You want to put yourself in a position where every trade has a probable setup of either 2-to-1, 3-to-1 risk reward, where you're consistently gaining, rather than if you had a loss, all it takes is one loss to make up, for three, or one win to make up for three losses. So that confirmation of waiting for that retest is crucial, because what typically happens is if you get in early, you're going to get the retest anyway, and now you have to deal with drawdown. The market's going to move against you. It'll finally bounce off that initial area you were supposed to enter at, and now it bounces and goes higher, or it may pull lower to a lower level of support, or it may pull higher to a higher level of resistance before it makes its move, and now you're dealing with all of that negative pulling on your account before you actually go on a profit, and it just makes no sense. So you just have to really train yourself to become more patient and to become more diligent in working your plan.
All right. So there you have it, guys, right from the experts. All right. So he's just kind of confirming, making sure I'm saying the right stuff, right? Making sure I'm teaching the people right out here. I'm not misleading y'all. Definitely wouldn't be doing it on purpose if I did. Okay, so you break and then you wait for the retest. So no retest, no entry. Okay, essentially how it works. Okay, so now you can see that it broke this trend line, it retested. If you were watching this at this time, maybe you would have gotten in up here, right? Maybe you would have, but I wasn't looking at it, and you know, whatever. So okay, then it comes down. It comes down. What does it do? Then it breaks this major level, right? This level is what? This is the 23, right? Usually I put the numbers on here so I can see them. But this is the 23. So then it breaks the 23, right? And then what does it do? Well, it doesn't really come back and touch the line, right? Because there's something called a zone. There's something called a zone. And this is kind of where our sandwich kind of comes into play, right? This is where our sandwich comes into play that we were talking about. But it kind of came back into the zone, all right, of that, because it's the line is one thing, but the zone of the line is something else, right? And it's usually the area. It's the zone. It's kind of like when you're driving somewhere. Let's say you were driving from Detroit, where Kurt is at, to Atlanta. And let's say he's coming from his house directly to my house directly. Okay, so those are two distinct points. But when he gets into the Atlanta area, right, it will say, welcome to Atlanta. Like, he'll know that he's in the Atlanta geographical area. He might not have reached my house directly, but I live in the Atlanta area, but I specifically live at this house. He's driving, he gets to the Atlanta area. He could call me and he could say, hey, Trace, I'm in Atlanta. Doesn't mean he's at my house, but it means he's in the area. So he's close. That suffices. He's made it from, in other words, he's made it from his house to my house, right? Literally, he's not at my house, but generally he's made it from his house area to my house area, right? So this is kind of the same scenario. Is it exactly at the line? No. But is it in the area? Yes. Does that suffice, and will that count? Many times, yes. And that's where our sandwich comes in. So I'm going to share that with you guys in a second, but just let me keep pointing out. So it breaks this line, right? It comes back. This kind of retests the area. There's an area above the line and an area below the line that makes a zone. And that is what, so we call the area above the line the top bread, the area below the line the bottom bread, and the line is the meat. So that's our sandwich. That's our sandwich, right? Everybody knows what we want to do. We want to eat. We want everybody to eat by learning this skill. Okay. So, all right. So it comes back up and it retests our zone. Then it comes down and it does something in here. If you guys can see that, right? This is not, there's no major level right here, but it does something. It's hanging out right in here. So this suggests that this might be an area of support and resistance, right? So this is where I kind of come in. I said, well, let me draw some of those other levels of support and resistance. The fibs are our major levels, but there's some other levels in there that price still likes to hang out at. Now, just from a visual perspective, you can see that price is hanging out. If you look at the crosshair and you see the dotted line going horizontally to the left, you can see.
Show your screen.
Uh-oh, you can't see my screen?
No, Derek, still can't.
Uh-oh. Hold on.
It's showing great on Facebook Live stream.
It's showing on Facebook Live, John.
Okay.
Okay, perfect. Because I'm looking at it, I'm making sure I keep it there so I can see it too. Awesome. So if you look at my crosshair at the horizontal line, the dotted line, and you can see that my little hand is right here. If you look across, you can see that the wicks, the little lines have come down and they're touching that area, right? Even so, like right in here, it's touching it, right? It's as support because the price is coming down and it's not breaking through. It's bouncing off and it went back up, right? But over here, what happened? Price went up to that line and it bounced back down, right? So this must be some sort of level of support and resistance. Now, when you're looking at your charts, when you're brand new, maybe you can't see that right away. Okay, you can't, your eyes have to be fine-tuned to see this. You're teaching yourself how to see something that most people can't see. And that's why you're able to actually extract money because you can see things that other people can't see. It's a certain type of sight. It's a certain type of vision that you have to have. And if you don't have this vision, then you won't be able to do it. So you have to practice until your eyes start to refine themselves such that you see it a certain way. So what I started doing was I started coming in and putting lines here as well. So the best way that I learned how to do that is through our boy Oren Wright. Okay, he's on IML TV as well. And Oren is like the easiest way to see your support and resistance, which is so like key, is to go to your line chart, right? So now this is a candle chart. So I'm going to come up here and I'm going to go down to the lines, right? Now, what the line chart does is it takes away all that noise. And it takes away the colors, it takes away all that stuff. And all you can see really are peaks and valleys, is what I call them, peaks and valleys, right? So here you can see a peak, right? Right here, you can see a peak. So what happens is because we are in a sell, right? You're looking at all that, or if we were in a buy, you're looking for areas of support and resistance, okay? But because we're in a sell, we're looking for areas of resistance, primarily because of the retesting, right? So it'll break through a level, remember, and it'll go back up and it'll hit, boom, retest at the resistance, and then turn around and keep going in a sell. That's what we're looking for. So where are there peaks and valleys? Really a peak that's doing that. So right here, here's a peak, right? If I were to hone in a little bit, if you look at my crosshair, you look left. The key thing about trading is that you have to see where you've been. You always want to look left. You want to see where price was at this particular point last time, or was it at this particular point sometime in the past. So we're right here right now. So if I put my crosshair right here, you look all the way across, you can see, oh my God, look at the magic. Price was right here once before, right? So this is an area of resistance, right? The last time price came up to this line, it turned around and went back down. You can see that it did that right here. It was up here and it came back down, right? So what I do is I come in, I put another line. But this time, my lines, I put them a different color so I can tell the difference between my fib lines and my kind of like my minor lines, my minor levels of support resistance. I don't know if it's a real name or a technical name. Kurt probably would know if there's a technical name to it. I don't know. I just call it the minor lines of support and resistance. You guys can see you don't got to be all that smart. Just
inside the support and resistance lines that you do mark up, there are pivot areas in between. So that way you'll have areas where the market will start to move in between your support and resistance. It'll make a decision where either it'll bounce or continue through after it makes a retest.
Okay, so pivot area. Thank you for that, Mr. Cobain Brooks. Right, guys, you're getting it raw. This is how I do it. It's a pivot area. So this is a pivot area, right? Okay, great. So here's one. Now we're moving down, right? Are there any other? Now, if you see this area right here, right? So it went up, it came down, and then right here, right? This is a level, right? Because right here, you can see that price came up and went back down to this level. But right here, price came down and went back up. So this might be a nice little pivot area, right? So I'll put one of my little lines right here, right? Okay, in the past, there we go. Boom. So now you can see right here, it came up, it went down. Right? It came up, it went down. It came up, it went down. Here, it broke through. Now, here's what I'm talking about. It broke through, right? Now, it went all the way around, and now we're back over here again, right? But this time, this was a little bit of a support level, right? But then we broke through, and now it went back to the resistance again. It bounced off, and it's moving down, all right? So you can see that. Hopefully, you guys can see that as well. Okay, so now what I'll do is I'll still kind of find a couple of more areas as we go, right? So where did price come down and bounce off and go back down some more, right? So if I'm looking left, right over in here, right, it did it. And if I keep going left, I might find something. Okay, this is a while back, so I don't see anything there, right? But we got a little area right here of resistance, right? So I'll just mark it up there so I can see that. And I'm just kind of preparing, like as price moves down, that might be a place where it hangs out for a minute and then continues to move or turn around, for example, right? All right, but then another one is kind of like right in here, right? You can see this right in here, it did it. So I'm going to kind of come down a little bit, right? Because this is kind of more of a, so here you can see it bounced up, came down, bounced up, came down. Right? Even here, it didn't come all the way up here. Price is probably a wick right here. Because what the line chart does, the line chart does not consider wicks. The line chart only considers the body of the candle. So where price closed, where it opened and where it closed, that's it. That's all the line chart dictates. So sometimes when you see space in between the peak of this line and, you know, my horizontal line, there might be a wick right there. Means that it went up and it touched it and it came back down, which is still a good thing, right? Okay. So
Tracey, you are killing it right now. I'm sorry, I have to chime in right now. Like this,
you think so?
Explaining the line chart, the prop, because a lot of people don't understand how a line chart really works. I mean, they look at this thing about trading places with Eddie Murphy, like, oh, this old school. There's a lot of information inside of a line chart that could really benefit you. And you are killing that. Like, just letting people know that this works simply off opens and closes is phenomenal, because wicks are great and they give us a lot of data. But just having that clean open and close view, having that different perspective to compare it to, and then while you do your markup, and when you go back to candles and you get the wicks on top of your lines, on top of your trend lines and your support and resistance, it's like, oh wow, because now you're painting that picture. You're getting all the details now.
Mm-hmm. Well, thank you, Sir Branch. I appreciate that. You know, because I've been like, this is what people don't get. Like, I'm building this business, but I'm learning this business, right? Some people are out here just selling, and that's okay. I don't have anything against that. I'm a networker. We sell stuff that makes sense to people. But at the same time, guys, I'm learning this because my true intention is what I tell you my intention is that I've had a company shut down on me before. I don't ever want anybody I know or me to be subject to the income only coming from the commissions of that company. I finally have found something. We have finally found something that we can generate income from, where our company is teaching us how to do. I learned this stuff from the company and from people in the company like Kurt. I didn't know this stuff before. I'm learning it now. So if it weren't for IML, I wouldn't know this. I wouldn't know Curtis. It's all because of the associations of what we're doing and how we're learning it, the education that's being provided, that is providing value to my life and to so many other people's lives. And all we're trying to do is share with you the value and the benefit of this, so that you never, ever, ever have to worry about money again, right? When you learn this. So, all right, so we've got this pivot point in here, right? All right, great. And then really, you know, we're good until we get to this next level of this next fib level of support resistance for the most part, right? I mean, maybe right in here, right? Let's put another one right here just in case. Because if you guys can see this, you can see these peaks right here, right? Going across. So we got some peaks right here. I'll put a line there. You can also see that this is a major level. This is a pivot, because the price on this line, it went up and came down, went up and came down, it went up and came down, went up and came down. It broke through, but then it came down to this line again as a level of support. And then boom, it took off, right? Boom, it took off from this level. This is a major, actually a pretty decent level, pretty decent pivot area right there. Okay. So now, guys, I've got some pivot areas in between my major levels of support and resistance, as well as a trend line that's right there. So now I've got that picture that I need. I can go back to my candles, right? Now, like I said, you can see where price has hit the wicks have hit these lines a little bit, right? The wicks have hit the lines, are kind of gone over the lines and things of that sort. Here's this area I was talking about before, right? It hit up, came down, went up, came down, went up, came down, went up, came down. It broke through, came down, hit this level of support, and then what did it do? It shot up, right? Now, if you knew this, you could have potentially gotten yourself in on a buy here, right? To follow along with the trend of the bull trend going up, right? But at any rate, that's where we are. All right. So now what have we done?
I wanted to say one thing.
Sure. Please.
right there where you are with your cursor.
Yeah.
You just had it at the bottom of that part where it shot up, right at the beginning of that move. That right there is a sign where people, once you get a little more information, can you scroll back over a little bit to where that move was? Like, move the chart over just a little bit so they can see the entire, like the little previous information before it shot up.
Okay. Can you see it yet? It's over.
Yep. Okay, sweet.
Okay.
Right there where you have it. If you look below where the initial move shot up, right there just before, when you look down at your indicator, this is where having that knowledge that IML brings and the education that we get from IML TV and understanding that everything that we're learning ties together. Though these indicators give you so many clues, but like she said, learning the naked way of trading where you don't have any indicators, you're just using raw price action, you're reading what the candles are showing you, and then you're flipping between the line chart and the candle chart to get that raw information. You're working off a price action, which price action is king, we all know. But when you have those indicators, it'll give you those extra confirmations, aka confluences, that just say, okay, if I'm seeing certain things from my indicators, meaning I'm getting strength or I'm getting momentum, or if I'm seeing volume, or if I can understand where volatility may start to pop up at, this gives you a much better opportunity, and it increases your odds to remain profitable because now you can have much better entries, much better exits. It's all about just continuously learning and expanding what you have, because we can always be better. Like Adeze Duncan says, I am a student always. And you want to make sure you keep that mindset inside what we're doing, because you will gain a lot of knowledge and you will, begin to start making money and become profitable. But it's the actual mindset that comes along with the skill set. Like you can make a lot of money and it won't change who you are as a person. But if you start understanding that personal development and seeing this industry and this market as a way of helping others, and you become selfless inside of this area and this space, it will take you so much further than any amount of money you could ever make. And I really want people to know that, because most people come into IML or Forex in general just because they want to make a couple extra dollars. But when you understand how valuable the skill set is, because once you learn how to trade Forex, you can literally go trade anything after that. This is probably the most volatile market on the planet. You can go trade stocks, you can go trade futures, you can go trade options, you can transfer over to crypto. All of these things help you understand anything involving a chart. And honestly, with stocks, when you learn Forex, stocks just seem like a breeze. It's like, because stocks move so much more slower than Forex does. So you anticipate moves in stocks because you learn how to trade Forex. Like if you guys ever get the time to look up some of the most wealthiest traders on the planet, they traded Forex. Like Paul Tudor Jones, what's his name? Jesse Livermore. Like these guys started off trading currencies and they understood that it was more volatile than anything else. And once they mastered this, when they went on to other things like stocks and futures, it was like a walk in the park. They were like, dude, they're just giving the money away. I don't even have to work. I understand what's happening because I know charting. And I believe there should be at least one person in every household that knows how to do this. It doesn't make sense not to. It's a financial market. You work every day of your life for finances and you don't even know how to manage them. You might as well learn this skill set and have at least your kids, your father, your sister, your mother, or somebody needs to know how to do this, because it pays dividends forever once you have it. Nobody can come in and say, all right, you made enough money in the market, wrap it up. You can do it no matter where you want to plan it. It translates everywhere, right? We're dealing with a 24-hour market. So I just wanted to stop in and just say that one little bit of information, because just because she was showing you guys raw price action, everything on her chart is giving her an indicator, a sign. She's continuously absorbing information as she's working through the chart. Every step of the way, she's learning and expanding for the next opportunity, because she's developing that muscle memory of seeing things, and her eyes are being trained to spot entries almost effortlessly now, because now she's worked past the initial, okay, I gotta understand the terminology, I gotta understand the lingo, because all we're doing with trading is basically breaking down the language of the market. This is like a foreign language, and in the beginning, you're just getting the vowels and the consonants, and you're getting all the different small things so you can actually see and slowly start to form the words in the market. And then after you have it, where mastery comes in, you can throw your own trades out there, do your own analysis. You're fluent now. You can actually see what's happening in the market and call it out before it even takes place. And it's not as difficult as you guys may think. I know Tracey's blowing through here like, I got this, I'm killing it. But for you to be brand new, don't feel like, okay, she's saying some words I've never heard of a Fibonacci. It's just lingo. like anything. When you started a new job, some of that stuff you guys may have learned from, you know, Chrysler jobs or nursing jobs. You got to learn the lingo. You know, anytime you go to a new occupation, it's just that transitional phase of getting used to it. Same thing with trade. People think it's just so foreign because it's money moving, and you know, we've been taught a lot of times to be really on defense with our money, and this allows you to finally go on the offense and have your money work for you. And for me, it was game changer. But I just want to make sure I just touched on that. I'm gonna give my spiel once Tracey is done, but I'm gonna bag out and let Tracey finish. You know me, if you let me talk, I'll be talking.
It's all good. It's all good, brother. So I'm just kind of just taking some notes and some stuff that you're saying as well, because I'm like, oh, let me go look up this Paul guy, right?
Paul Tudor Jones. He has a video on YouTube. It's an hour movie. He actually snatched it off of the internet. This is a Chinese guy who posted it on YouTube, but it shows so much of his trading secrets. Paul Tudor Jones bought a house that's worth $70 million. He's currently worth $5 billion, all from trading.
What?
Yeah, this dude is one of the best traders on the planet, like crazy good. And another guy who's like old school, his name is Jesse Livermore. He went around trading in a bunch of like old school bucket shops where it was almost like a, what is it called? Like gambling houses where you go in with the bookies, you want to make your bets. He was doing it with trading because he didn't have the money to trade with the big boys on Wall Street and the bigger banks. So he would go down to the bucket shops where they would let small people get in and speculate on the market. He was cleaning out the bucket shops in every city he went to, and eventually Wall Street hired him because they heard what he was doing.
Wow.
Yeah, he worked his way up from nothing to something, and it was just, you know, one of those situations where once you have the skill set, nobody can tell you what you're worth. Nobody can tell you, hey, you got to come in at this time every hour. This is what we're going to pay you. It's like, listen, you know what I can do in an hour? And mind you, these guys didn't have internet. They were doing this old school with like just, you know, looking at numbers on a piece of paper and speculating where it was going to go from there. This wasn't anything where they could look at an actual candle or actual line graph. These guys were old school. Like, we watched a video of Paul Tudor Jones. This guy's on the phone just screaming price numbers out. He didn't have any screens in front of him. They were working off of information from the 1930s, from the Great Depression. They were seeing a pattern repeat in the 80s that happened back in the 30s. And they said the market's going to crash soon, but we're going to have a really great run up. And then once we reach the same peak in the 30s, we're going to start shorting everything. He called out one of the major shorts in the stock market and made billions back when billions counted in the 80s. And ever since then, this guy's been nonstop. And now he's starting to get into crypto, but he keeps telling people it's not ready yet. It's still early. But once we get that institutional money flowing in from the banks and the hedge funds, once crypto gets that first trillion, it's over. You're gonna see so much money flow into that space. And by you guys already having the information from learning from Forex and learning what IML offers you, you'll be able to jump into that crypto space like it was back in the 80s, where a fresh market with all that money flowing through it. If you know how to chart, listen, I don't know how to say game time in a bunch of languages, but it's going to be game time.
Get that right. I'm so happy we're learning now. I don't know what to do. I'm so happy.
Imagine Josiah a little bit. Oh, my God.
Oh, goodness. Right? Our kids are going to be absolutely amazing. Right? Amazing. I'm so excited for the future of what they're going to be doing. And I wrote down that I'm going to take a look at Paul Tudor Jones and Jesse Livermore and check them out. Guys, I recommend that you do the same, right? Find out how the wealthy people have made their money and what they do, and you just follow suit. That's the same thing, right? And we're just teaching it here on this level, and you do it. And the thing about this that I love, and Karen, I know you'll probably agree, is that, and like I come from internet marketing. A lot of you guys might know that, you know, I taught internet marketing and social media and that whole thing. And I still like that space, but I'm going to tell you what aggravated me about the space, right? Aggravated me that it made my skin crawl after a while. And that is, it changes so much, right? It changes so much that, you know, me coming in, doing this full time, let's say social media marketing or Facebook ads or this or that or YouTube ads or here, whatever, you know, I could teach you that stuff, which I've done for years. And then in 6 months, everything I just taught you is now null and void because they've changed something and now I've got to reteach it. Now, doesn't that help me put money in my pocket because I can keep releasing products and stuff and keep selling you stuff? Yeah, I could, but it's kind of aggravating when you really, really, really want the people that you're working with to succeed, where they're working full time. They don't have, you know, all the time in the world. And as soon as they, you know, take an hour or two a day to learn the strategy I just taught them, it took them 3 months to get that down pat. They go to execute and everything about that has changed. That bothered me. Right? I hated seeing people be hindered because of that. Some people can succeed with that because of their lifestyle, right? I was one of those people that I could get it fast and I could go and I could execute and I could implement, but I don't work from 9 to 5, right? I can sit here and do what I need to do. Most people can't. Once I moved out of that space into this, the most intricate detail that I realized was that this doesn't change. You can take 6 months to learn this. You can take a year to learn this. And guess what? The pattern is still the pattern. I just showed you on the daily chart of this particular pair how when we went back, we were all the way March 2017. And the price hit that same point and it's going to bounce off, right? Guys, if it took you a whole year to figure that out, the market is still going to repeat itself over and over and over. And so if you would just take the time and not rush yourself, this isn't like internet marketing where you got to hurry up before it changes. You don't have to hurry up before it changes, but you do need to hurry up before you get to a point where your financial ability either changes where you can't do it, or your mental ability is so stressed out that you can't focus good enough. You don't wait till you hit the rock bottom before you make a change. You start making change in preparation, right? So that you don't have to hit it. And if you do, then you already have your game plan. All right. So please listen to what Curtis is saying. Please study some of these people, at least look them up on YouTube and things of that sort and start understanding, because this is the true money game. All that other stuff we're doing, it's great ways to make money here and there, but this is that long-term stuff we're talking about. Okay. So you learn this, guys, you're pretty much good to go. All right. All right. So we're back to our chart right here. You know, that was our little intermission, okay? That was our intermission. So we're back to our chart, all right? So this is pretty much it, okay? So what we have is our trend lines. We've got our major levels of support resistance, and then we've got our pivot areas. And my pivot areas is what we call the sandwiches, right? Why? Because you can see up here above my line, here's a major support resistance above my line, and below my line, this is like a little area right there, right? That's like a zone, kind of, okay? And because of that, that's like a sandwich, all right? And we're going to eat. When we find the sandwiches, it's time to eat, okay? So that's kind of how that goes. So this is the basics of how I did set this up this morning. All right. Okay, great. So here was the trade detail. So now let's say you get a signal, it comes out, right? So at the time, at the time, the entry point of this, I'm going to put a little ray right here. I'm going to make it yellow. At the time, the entry point was, this is what was called out, right? 40512. So I'm gonna put that right here, and I'm gonna come in here. I'm gonna type in 40512, right? Okay. So this is where they said to get in, all right? Then they said put your stop loss. I'm gonna put in another ray, but this one I'm gonna make it red, okay? I'm gonna type it in at 41, and guys, I'm just sharing this with you just for illustration purposes. I'm not saying you should get in this trade or do any of that at this point, okay? I'm just showing you for illustration purposes what I did, okay? So here we go. So it was 41802, right? Hey, where my thing? Oh, 4188. Should be right there. Let me put it back again. Something happened. Okay, we're gonna come back. Here we go. 41880. Okay. Oh, so that's where they have the stop loss. Okay. And then the very first take profit, I'm gonna make it green, was called at 1.39925. Okay, first take profit right there. Okay, so now this is what I do. I come in, I look at the numbers, and I say, okay, does this make sense? Based on my analysis, does this make any sense? Okay, now you got to remember that at the time that this was called, which was earlier this morning, maybe I think that this green candle was being formed. this red candle was not here yet. This red candle was not here yet. So you can't even look at the red candle. We're probably somewhere around in this green candle. Okay, just if you can just focus on that. The green candle was the only candle that was there. And so I'm like, okay, so at that point in time, price is going up, right? Literally at that time, price is going up, right? And so price is going up, and then the signal says, get in on the sale right here, right? So price is down here, price is moving up, 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 and he says, get in right here, okay? And then if price gets up here, then you want to get out. And then if price, this is take profit 1 right here. Okay, now there's a take profit 2. I won't get into that right at the moment because I want to just illustrate this. I'm not trying to give a signal or to call out any trades, all right? But if you just look at this visually, right, does this kind of make sense? Well, yeah, overall it makes sense. Number one, where's the take profit? The take profit is right at this pivot point. Do you guys see that? That the pivot point, because what happened last time? Right here at this line, price came down, and what did it do? It turned all the way around and went back up. So if price is now going down again, it's probable that it could come to this point again and do what? Turn around and go all the way back up before turning around and coming back down again, right? So because of that, you want to take your profit before it gets to that line, right? That's why we kind of make this a little bit bigger so you can see that, right? That's why the take profit is above this actual pivot point, because we want to get our money before it pivots. Get your bag and run is what we're looking to do. Okay, so to me, that take profit made a lot of sense. Okay, fine. So I can see that. That's what I'm telling you. I look at the chart, and if I can't see what the trader, the master trader is that sent this out, what they see, then I don't get in, because I want to be able to see it. It's my money. I want to see, so I get confident and build more and more confidence. So I see the take profit. I see why that makes sense. Good. Okay. Then let's come back up here to the entry point. Now we were over here at this green candle, right? And so now what happens is that at the green candle, master trader says, get in at this point right here at the yellow line. And I'm thinking, well, if I get in at the yellow line, here's what I know. What I know is that it broke. See this red candle, it came down. What did it do? It broke this level, this pivot level right here. And then it came down, and then it broke this particular fib line, this Fibonacci level, this major level support resistance. It broke both, it closed below. So when it closed below, I already know no retest, no entry. No retest, no entry. So I'm not getting in on a sale right here. I have to wait until price retests the point at which it just came from, right? So what
you have to do? What was that part again?
I have to wait until.
Okay, you have to wait. Okay, because some people get very impatient. They see that candle and they're like, "Oh, it's game time! Yeah. Oh, there you go." Listen. If you are that person and you're trying to hurry up and jump in and make those quick profits, this is not about getting rich quick. This is about getting rich smart and developing a skill set. I was watching a video. I'm not trying to cut you off.
No, go ahead.
About it was what's his name? TD Jakes. He was doing a sermon, and he was saying, when you fight for something and you go through that pain, you won't let nobody take it from you. Mm-hmm. When you feel that anguish and you scrapped and you struggled and you sacrificed, you develop a certain skill that allows you to maintain that thing you wanted so bad. And understanding with this trading, the patience that comes along with it. Mm-hmm. And one of my mentors, my big bro Lawrence Michael Young, Chairman 50. Chairman 50, gotta throw that in there. He tells me all the time, he says, would you rather have the pain of regret or the pain of discipline? And I'm like, I want the pain of discipline. He was like, you got to go through it. You got to go through it. You got to go through that fire. You got to be forged through fire. Because that way, once it's all said and done, You got it. You got it for the rest of your life. Nobody can come in and say, all right, Kurt, we're gonna take the skill set back. You didn't earn it. We came in, we gave you everything. We gave you your chairman 10. You didn't know how to maintain it. So we're gonna go ahead and snatch that back. And at that point, what can I say? Because if I haven't fought for it, if I haven't sacrificed for it, I'm not gonna put up any kind of actual fight or any kind of emotional attachment to it because I haven't earned it. It's the same thing with Forex. The most dangerous thing in the world is somebody giving you something you haven't earned. Mm-hmm. Period. In this skill set, when I hear Tracey talk now, it's so funny because I'm letting her do her thing and I'm hearing it. I'm so happy to hear the progress in her voice. Like the way she's saying, no retest, no entry. I have to wait for this count. I got to let that go so I can have it come back because I'm not chasing the market. I want the market to come to me. And when you understand that it's going to do it and you got that confidence and that patience, listen, your account going to just start growing and growing. And then you're going to start seeing more consistency. Because when you chase the market, you feel like you're missing out on something. You feel like it's never going to come back. This $5.3 trillion a day. If you think $5.3 trillion a day is not about to come circle back around, you are sadly mistaken. Absolutely. I just told you this man, Paul Tudor Jones, made billions off of a strategy he found from the 1930s. Okay, they didn't have computers. He was working off 1930s information in the 80s, 50 years later, following patterns from 50 years ago. And made billions. The retest is coming.
The retest is coming. The retest is coming.
It's coming. All right.
We need to get some shirts made. The retest is coming. You know.
Hey.
Don't y'all steal that idea now. Don't y'all steal our idea. Okay. But all right. So as Kurt made sure that we reinforce wait, right? So the signal says get in right here, right? Now I know this has to retest. So what happens, this is the difference between, this is where when you're growing a little bit, right? When you're the complete newbie, as I talked about before, and you're just taking the trades blind, you're still going to probably win more than you lose. But as you learn how to do your chart analysis, you're starting to minimize even your losses, okay? So some of you guys get into your trades and you hate seeing the red, right? You hate seeing the red, but you got to be okay with the red. And you got to be okay with the blue because you got to be non-emotional about it, right? It's a decision. When you make a decision, you got to make your decision. You got to stick with your decision. Okay. That's kind of how it is. And it's, you take the good with the bad. It is what it is. You guys hear these, come see, come side. It just is what it is. And you got to be okay with seeing the red. Just like you're okay with seeing the blue. But if you can learn how to minimize the length of time you're seeing the red, though. If you could learn that can be very, very helpful. And that is my whole point in learning about my sandwiches, right? Because my sandwiches help me to minimize the amount of time I see the red, right? And that's all I'm looking to do is minimize that. I'm okay with if it goes red a little bit, but I don't like it to go red infinitely and then all of that, right? It's kind of stressful for me, all right? So I'm still working through that. So my sandwiches help me to refine the price entry just a little bit more. So the trade gets called at this point right here, 40512. And it's still doing whatever it's doing, right? Going up or something like that. So just because the price is called at that point, like let's say price was right here, right? And the sale gets called right at that yellow line on the green candle though. And then price is still going up. Price is still going up. So if you got in on the sale right at that point, price doesn't just always go straight up and straight out. It might go up and then it come back down and go up. So it may have triggered your sale, even though you're going up. Even if you have like a sale limit, it may have still triggered it, right? But the point is, if it triggered your sale, then this whole ride up from the yellow line all the way up, right, is negative for you. It's negative, and you start tripping and you start bugging out, right? And all of this. And so I'm looking at it and I'm saying, well, I know I need to wait for the retest anyway, right? So I'm not going to get in right here. If anything, I'm looking for a retest where I'm going to get in up here, right?
I'm telling you, when you done with this, you have to have a talk because you beasting this call right now. But I got some jewels for this chart you own though too. So let me know when you want me to hop in and drop a couple nuggets too, because I want to share a few little things that I think even a new person could understand.
Okay.
Just with looking at it from just flat out first day looking at it, you can start spotting things and being able to understand it a lot.
Okay, cool beans. Well, I'm almost done with this because I'm getting ready to show you where I got in at and where we are now. Okay, guys. So we're rounding up and then I'm going to pass it on over to Kurt. So I waited. In other words, the trade got called and I waited, right? And what did I do? I could see my lines right here, right? I could see my lines and I could see all this other stuff that's going on. And so I said, well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to wait for price to come up here, right? Because I felt like, well, maybe, it didn't really come back up and test this level yet. So it came back up and tested. It came down. And then what happened? It turned around and it started going up again, right? At the time that this candle formed, it was green, right? And so when you're looking at it, you're like, wait a minute, I'm in a sell and price is going up. Well, yeah, because why? It's probably getting ready to retest this zone a little bit again, right? Now, let me go back to the line chart for just 1 second because I did not put any sandwiches above, okay? I only put the sandwiches of pivot levels below. I didn't put any above so you can see what I was actually looking at, all right? So here, all right, you can see this line right here. Now, after that line right there, oh, there wasn't any, I don't think. There wasn't any. That's probably what it was. Okay, so cool beans. So it comes, the next little level was right here. Okay, so I'll just stick this here just for the sake of it. I'll just kind of stick it like right in here somewhere. Okay, perfect. So now I'm going to come back to my candles. Okay, great. So you see, I put this line here. Now what happens is that now because the price came down, right? It retested this line right here. I'm like, well, I'm going to wait until it comes back up. It might kind of retest again. And price kept going up, right? And it went up. And I said, well, it might come back and touch this line, right? And this price right here is like what? 40796, right? So what I did was I put a sell limit order right there, right? I think I put it a little bit. Actually, I put a little bit below it. Because if you look left, right? Price didn't come up to this line all the way, but it kind of came up right here. You see this green candle right here? It came up to there. So I think I put a sell limit. In fact, let me look. What did I put my sell limit? 40706, right? So I didn't get it all the way in there, but 40706. I don't know why I ended up. I think it didn't trigger till then, but I think I put a sell limit like right in here, right? So in other words, what I did was I came in and let me grab a little line, a little horizontal ray. And for the sake of this illustration, I'll make this one like this light blue. So I came in, I put a sell order in at 407, whatever it was, but it ended up being 06. Let's just say that's what it triggered at. Okay. So boom, right there. All right. So what happens is I waited. All right. I didn't stay red this whole time. I just waited until it came back up and retested. Now, then I think I put a sell limit right here as well. So I had a sell limit order here and I had one around in here. So I figured, all right, if it came back up to my line, then it would trigger. But if it only had my little zone area, then it would trigger as well. So I'm going to get one of the two, or I'm going to get both. Right now, if it had kept going and got negative and got to this line, I was going to get the sell right there too. So I would have been happy. And on my way back down, this would have been blue until it got to this level. And then they both would have been blue all the way back down. So the point is I got in right at here. I waited. I didn't get in right here. I got in up here, right? Literally my trade is at 40706, which is almost right at the top of that wick. Right? Why? Because I could see these levels, right? I can see how this is working. So I'm just going to wait. And I can minimize my red. So I did. Now, did price go up a little bit above the line? Yes, it did. But I was red for like a couple minutes, like versus all of this, right? So then the trade pulled down and then it went back down. So this was still a good call, right? Still a good call. You're still in profit if you got in right here. But I just got a few more pips. Let's see how many pips that is that I got just by being patient, right? Almost 20 pips, right? 20 pips just on being a little patient. Okay. So I got in here and now we're going to ride this trade down to here. All right. Now, total amount of pippage in this is, look at this, guys. Boom, 78 pips. 78 pips, and that's just take profit 1. There is a take profit in 2 and not a, but I'm gonna get out at take profit 1. Why? Because I'm still learning, and this right here, this pivot area, I'm good. Nope, give me my money, and price can do whatever it's gonna do. I tell you what, if it turns around and goes back up and retests, then I can get back in on the retest and ride down to take profit 2. But I'm gonna get out right here. That's me. I'm going to secure the bag. I'm going to get out. And this is a trade that I'm in this morning right now. So we're up now, what, roughly how many pips for now? We're up, well, is pulling back. So we're up 36 pips already, right? Just on this one trade, on this one position. And then we'll keep working our way down. So guys, I just wanted to share that with you in terms of how I see it and how I've worked it. And then one last thing, and I'm gonna turn over to Kurt, then I can come down and see this stochastic, right? So I'm like, all right, this thing will mess around and come down here, and it's down at the bottom. And this is giving me an indication that it potentially is going to turn around and go back up, right? It's at the bottom. It's going to turn around and cycle itself back up. So what do I want to, I want to get my dang on money before it hits this pivot. And I want to turn around and get the heck up out of here. All right. So this is a trade, but this is how I analyze. So when swipe trades come out, that's what I do. I don't just get in. I come in, I chart it up. I do it on my phone, really. So you learn how to do it on your phone a little bit faster. If I'm at the computer, do it on the computer. And then that's how I do my trade assessments. All right. So guys, I hope that was helpful to you. This is up. It's a recording. You can check it out. And now what I want to do is I want to pass it over to Mr. Curtis Cobain Brent, because he's going to share some things with you guys from a more of a mastery perspective, the things I can probably learn from what he's getting ready to say, and so on and so forth. So Kurt, over to you, brother. Please bless us with the skill, the Forex skills.
Oh man, look, I'm over here like I can't wait to show you what I just saw on this chart. But how do I, like, can I do screen share, or is it allow me to do it?
Okay, hold on. So let me do this. What did I do? Oh, let me stop sharing my screen. Oh wait, no, I think I'm Facebook sharing the screen.
Okay.
Hold on.
I might have to direct you across what I'm seeing. If that's the case, I don't know if it'll allow me to do it or not.
Okay. Well, tell me what you want. Tell me what you want me to do.
Okay. So the chart you're on right now is beautiful, because what you typically want to look for in situations like this, and I'm a big advocate of engulfing candles, because I'm a real common sense kind of guy. I mean, I want things to make sense and just make it plain cut, easy to explain. And what I've noticed is engulfing candles are pretty much how the banks communicate. Because like I said, this is like a language, right? We're trying to basically decipher the language inside the market. How much money is moving through this market every day? Trillions. So if we understand that, we know that if a big candle just comes flying out of nowhere outside of consolidation, that's a lot of money moving very rapidly. That's nothing to ignore. That's a sign. That's the bank telling you, hey, we're making moves right now. You may want to pay attention. So when you get like these large engulfing candles, you have to start to decipher the information of the engulfings. And what I found was the engulfing candles aren't what you're looking for. They're just a big siren saying, hey, look at me. There's something you need to see here. But the problem is a lot of people will see an engulfing and they don't know how to decipher it. What I've understood and what I've learned is, even I will literally ask you to find any engulfing on this chart, and I'll tell you exactly what you need to see from that point on. That's how simple it is for me now with the engulfing. Just point one out and I got you. I'll tell you what to do once you find any engulfing.
Okay, well, first let's make sure people understand what an engulfing candle, because see, here's an engulfing candle. Well, this is an engulfing candle right here, right? I mean,
I have a little bit of a delay, so I got to see where you at.
Oh, okay, hold on. This red candle is an engulfing candle.
Listen, that's perfect. We can start with that one right there, that red one.
And just explain to people what engulfing really means.
Okay, so engulfing candle means that the candle that you see, that the very large red candle, we consider is a definition of an engulfing, because it is pretty much encompassing the entire body of the candle to the very left of it. Now, this is the deal with engulfing candles. As you see it make that huge move to the downside, that's what we call a large bearish engulfing. Bearish meaning a down trending candle. It opened at the top and closed at the bottom. That large red candle was considered bearish. So next to it, you'll see a green candle, which is a bullish candle, but it pretty much it just ate that entire candle's movement, right? That entire 4 hours of movement that green candle to the left of it put in, that bearish candle just ate all of that up and engulfed it. It was so huge, it just pretty much shadowed that whole movement. Seeing that gives me so much information that I can now benefit from. I can basically tell you exactly where I want to get in, where I want to get out, how long I want to stay in, and where my new zones are. Because what happens with these engulfing candles, they put something called supply and demand zones into play. Now, supply and demand starts to pay dividends because everything in our life is based off of supply and demand, right? We all seen Baby Boy when he starts selling the dress, it's supply and demand, Jody. Commerce. You have to know how to use supply and demand to your benefit. So what I'm going to show you guys is right there, that candle, that green candle to the next of it. Does it have a wick shooting all the way up to that trend line pretty much? I can't see, but I need you to put.
Okay, there's no wick. There's no wick on the candle to the left.
Okay, I want you to basically put a line basically right on top of that candle. Like a bright color, like a yellow or orange or something like that.
You see it?
I'm seeing you putting it on there now. It's like a little bit of delay. Just landed on my sweet. Okay, now I want you to put another line at the very bottom of that green candle's wick, if there is one.
Done.
And now what Tracey's doing right now is showing you guys that the market was inside of a consolidation zone, okay? This level that we just made is an area of, was an area of supply, okay? The market moved up to this area, bounced around, and then broke out. Now, when it broke out, it came back for the retest. But what happened with the retest? It didn't bounce off of our zone. It pushed through the zone. And then after it closed on the other side of the zone, we got a retest and then price took off, right? Now, if we look even further right, the move that we just got, the trade Tracey was just talking about that she entered, what do you have breaking into that zone? An engulfing candle, correct? Mm-hmm. And once again, that bottom zone of that green candle, that the entry that Tracey was just talking about, that area was what? The retest of that engulfing, just like we did to the left, same thing here to the right. It retested that level and now it's pushing lower, okay? But this area is still valid because we see right now that current bearish candle that's moving down, that red candle, guess where it's stuck at? Inside of that previous zone that we had from the past. This is where supply and demand starts to pay dividends because now this supply zone is now a demand zone. Price can come right here, bounce, and start retesting and moving to the upside and leaving engulfings, bullish engulfings to the upside. And then once it breaks out of this zone that it's in, we can see a retest of this zone and a stronger push to the upside. And what she has right now with her trend lines, you guys can see those diagonal lines. She has moving, coming upward from the bottom of the screen, crossing in a diagonal fashion. The price that she's in right now, the area she's in right now, can simply just consolidate inside of this yellow area until it hits that trend line and then boom, bounce to the upside. Also, the time of day that we're heading into, the market's going to typically slow down. So it's hit a zone where it wants to pretty much rest for the rest of the day. And then we'll start to see consolidation. And then right around maybe like the London session, we'll start to get that push back to the upside for GBP. And now her trend line will start to pay dividends because she was patient and she waited for the best possible entry. And after it breaks out of her new demand zone, she has a retest that's coming up for entry, and it gives her time for her indicator, like she said, her stochastic that's at the very bottom of her screen, can start to move higher and give her a better opportunity for an entry after it starts to wiggle its way out of this position that it's in right now. And it's all about just being patient and just finding those entries, but letting the market move. But it's not so much of wanting to predict it, it's just being patient and letting the market show its hand. Now, what happens if the market pushes below this yellow line we have here? We're waiting for what? A retest and a further push lower now, because now we're making further engulfings to the downside. Price can come back up and push leave the wick. What you see that's happening right now is every time you find an engulfing, you could immediately look left and then boom, you have your entry right there. I mean, anywhere you find an engulfing, we can do this all day long and you can just find structure inside of the market. Because what you're doing is you're using all the candles that engulfing candle pretty much engulfed, and now you're getting a full area of supply or demand to use to your benefit. And then when the market finally comes back for that retest, you have an opportunity to consistently profit or find a new area, let the market kind of make it smooth, play its hand out. You wait for that retest, you get that confirmation, and now we enter again. And it's not about making a lot of trades. It's about being patient and having great quality, not quantity, but great quality trades. Okay, guys, because I get people, they're like, man, Kurt, how you get in and make all of this money, man? I see people getting in and they just win it and they win. And I'm like, it's about being patient. It's all about, because it's easy to come up here and post, a whole bunch of profits on Facebook and say, oh, I'm doing great. Look at me, look at me. And then when somebody asks you how you did it, you say, oh man, I was just getting in, bro. That's not a good feeling. You can't, that's not duplicatable. You want to show people something that they can look at it and just blatantly spot a chart, see large candles, which are very easy to find, and then begin to look left. And now when you look left, guess what happens? Your indicators start to pay even more dividends now. Because now you're in an area where they make all the sense in the world now. If something's overbought, oversold, then I want to kind of touch on that too. When you guys hear the terms overbought and oversold, there's really no such thing as that. What's happening is your indicators are giving you a general area where price has pushed too far, too fast, and could potentially turn around. But the potential of that turnaround is much greater inside of a supply or demand zone. So this is where you have to make sure you're getting your indicators, your signals from your indicators in the right areas. And pretty much if you look at Tracey's indicator she has at the bottom in stochastic, every time it reaches the overbought area, you'll have an engulfing. Every time it reaches the oversold area, you'll have an engulfing. So now you can just start saying, oh, wow, once that indicator kind of got to the top and was about to curve back down, boom, we had an engulfing. Wow. Once it got to the bottom and wanted to curve back higher, wow, there was another engulfing to the upside. And now you can start setting up your zones using all the candles that candle engulfed, finding your zones, wait for a retest of that zone, and then boom, it'll continue in that initial move that the engulfing made. And it's really all about just being patient and letting the market come to you. I've tried chasing trades, guys. It doesn't pan out. You'll lose. You'll get frustrated. You start to develop a very bad neural pathway when it comes to trading. You want trading to be something that's comfortable, it's serene. Like marking up a chart is almost like therapy. You can ask Tracey now, because I know she loves it now. Like it's like getting ready for that upcoming week, and you see that markup start to make sense. Like, ooh, let price get right back here. It's game time, and you get excited because you know what's coming up next. And now once it gets to that area, now you start going into hunt mode, right? You get into that. Okay, let's see what you're gonna do. You start getting real patient. You start getting, it's like a lion. They crouch down low, those eyes get squinted, and you waiting for that moment to pounce on your trade, but you gotta have that patience. Just like anything, it's like anytime they hunt, they have to be patient, wait for that perfect moment to strike. They can run out and chase every gazelle in the field and not catch nothing, but they gotta wait and stalk it, right? We stalking price right now. We just get in position, and after a while, execute. And it just comes down to that mindset. You wanna start developing great habits in your trading. And if you don't have a trading plan, if you don't have a trading journal, if you're not doing markups, if you're not watching IML TV, if you're not going back to watch IML Academy, if you're not doing these things to keep yourself fresh and keep yourself on the up and up, it's like doing, weight training. You can say, oh, yeah, I'm good, man. My biceps are right. I don't have to go to the gym. Then you're going to start to lack off. You're going to start to have that diminishment of that muscle. You have to consistently flex this muscle to keep it strong. I mean, it was when we went to Vegas and I came back, I felt a little rusty. I was like, man, I got to sit down and get back in my mojo. My chair felt all funny. I was like, okay, wait a minute, let me get my groove. But it's one of those things where I had to get back in my mode, right? Trading is one of those things, like even when with the company, right? We get into that mindset of wanting to, build and recruit, and then we get away from trading, right? And then what happens when you bring a new person in? How do you do that? Well, you don't have any answers. So it's really smart to take the time and really just pour into this. So that way, because what you put into it, you'll get back double. I guarantee you that. The time you put into this, it'll come back double. Because I sat up days, nights, all day reading books, researching some of the best traders on the planet, so I can kind of like peek into the thought processes that they have. When I first got into the company, I watched IML TV till I passed out every day. Mm-hmm. Period. There was nothing else I wanted to see outside of somebody making money on the chart. Because I knew once I understood it, nobody can tell me what I'm worth per hour. Nobody can tell me what time I can go to the bathroom. Nobody can tell me how long I get to eat. Like, I don't know what that sounds like to you, but we know what that sounds like in real life. You tell me when I can eat, when I can go to the bathroom, when I can go home, and how long I get to sleep. I'm grown, and I don't like how that feels. So I just like having this ability to teach and show and basically have you guys open your minds to coming out of it. And if you're new to this, right, you're just scrolling through Facebook and you decided to pop on this and watch the replay or something of that nature, you have to start to peel yourself out of an employee mindset to see something where you're completely accountable for your finances. When was the last time you could truly say that? And I mean, getting a paycheck and paying the bills, I get it. But I mean, like, outside of somebody saying, this is your value per hour, you get to dictate what you're worth based on something that you've learned. When was the last time you could say, I'll put that effort in and I earned this outside of somebody else telling me what my value was? You dictate that. And then when you understand the value that you have with this skill set, now you can bring value to the marketplace. You can share with others. You can build. You can grow. You can show your community. You can start teaching children this, and they can get out of school. They don't have to worry about running in and having to pay tuition. They can fund their whole college ride just off of Forex because they understand something that everybody else didn't want to understand or didn't have the privy information to get it. Like this company, I'm telling you, is really undervalued by a lot of people. Mm-hmm. Really undervalued, because this teaches you basically, like Tracey said, you're good to go once you got it. I can walk in any room with lawyers, doctors, judges, and I can bring value to these people. They spend 5-figure, 6-figure digits on school, right? And I'm in here saying, oh, this is how you do this right here. And I'm bringing value to these people because they feel like I have something that they need. And it's no different from me than it is from you. Only difference between a wealthy person and a poor person is information, the ability to apply it. And in this industry, all it comes down to is just having patience and not getting down on yourself and understanding that inside of every loss, there's a lesson to be learned. And you can become greater than you were when you started that first trade that you lost. Every single loss is another way for you to become better. And trust me, I didn't get this far without having some substantial losses. But you understand that inside that loss, I'll become so much more wiser and so much more patient and so much more diligent, and understanding that this isn't just for me. This is pretty much all you guys too. Right? I mean, we have, people on the dream team, you guys know we go hard in the paint when it comes to, absorbing this information. You know what I'm saying? Even when team take profits, we the same way, right? We sit up all day. Like, I'm getting messages from our chats right now, like, oh, I'm 20 pips up. I'm 13 pips up. I'm like, hey, let's get it. But it's just, people are beating on that crap every single day in and day out. And I want to talk about this too before I stop. When you do get involved and you guys are excited about learning, do not try to trade every single currency pair inside of this market. Okay, it is the quickest way to burn yourself out with trading. It's like jumping into the stock market and buying every single stock there is. It doesn't make any sense. You're not putting yourself in a position where you can benefit from your investment. You need to understand how some of these pairs move, with some of the best times to trade these pairs. You need to understand your risk management and say, okay, I can make this kind of profit with this pair. If I'm patient and I'm just deliberate with my actions, I can consistently bring in profits, but I have to stay on my plan. I cannot deviate from my plan. When you start trading 5, 6, 7, 8 pairs all at once, it's very easy to get confused. It's very easy to get, mixed up with entries. It's very easy to get mixed up with how certain pairs are calculated. Because if you're trading something with a JPY on the end, meaning the Japanese yen, calculating that is a lot different than calculating something that just has USD on the end, or Canadian dollar on the end. So you have to know, where your honey lies. You have to know where your salt lies. You have to know, okay, this is where I'm good, this is where I'm bad. And as you learn and as you have that trading journal, you document your path, you document your journey, and now you can start building your own strategies. You can start painting your own road to success. That's the beauty of Forex. There's no right or wrong way to do it, but inside of learning and inside of that patience, you will find your way. Tracey has a Tracey-sized door that I can't fit through, but she's going through there with her own journey, right? She's learning, she's applying, and it's growing for her. Everybody in this chat that's trading, you have your own journey that you're on, and you're benefiting from that because now you're learning and advancing that knowledge, and you're just applying consistently every day in, day out. And it's not going to be easy because you're going to have the naysayers. You're going to have those people who on the outside looking in saying, oh, you doing that trading thing? That's that thing that's risky. Oh, I can't do that. That's too much for me. But then you ask them, what do you do? Oh, I go to work. And I'm okay. So is your job guaranteed? No, but I've been there for some years. If they fire you, what you going to do? I'm going to look for another job. Is that new job guaranteed? No, but I can go out and find it. Listen, trading isn't guaranteed. Your job isn't guaranteed. But if I sat here like I'm sitting here and I'm trading the way I'm trading, who's gonna make more money? Let's just keep it real. You got to go to work. They tell you what you work. You come home. You're not away. You away from your family. You're losing all of that time. You're not personal developing yourself. I can sit here, read a book, trade my chart, watch a video, make money, have fun with my children, and all the while I'm steady gaining value and I'm benefiting more people than myself. Now I'm not down on jobs. I'm just very, very up on opportunity. And I mean, like even Natalia, I think that's your name. You've been trying to teach yourself how to trade, and that's the beauty of IML. I promise you this. It's not about the signups. It's not about the ranks. It's about the community. You're joining a group of people, like-minded individuals that want what you want and have had the success that you want to have. If you want to learn how to play basketball, you're not going to go to the guy on the corner with the ripped up beater and the holes in his hoop shorts. You're going to find an expert to teach you how to do this. If Steph Curry walked in and said, I'm going to teach you how to shoot three-pointers, you're going to line up and say, let's do it. But if the bum on the corner said, I'm a beast at the park up the street, I can get you together, you're not going to that guy. And right now, IML gives you that opportunity to learn from expert traders on IML TV. And then you join teams like the Dream Team, Team Take Profit, all these different groups of organizations that are growing and building, and they're all about locking arms with you and really showing you how to do this and become a consistently profitable and confident trader. I mean, most people, they try to, naysay, like, oh, you can learn everything on YouTube. Listen, I've tried YouTube University. There's a lot of misinformation on YouTube. Okay, you'll be cycling through some videos trying to find something that's applicable to how to really trade. And I mean, people have all kind of indicators and all kind of settings and all kind of strategies. And at the end of the day, it's too much. It's paralysis analysis. Okay. So when you're coming into this market, the mindset you should have is, one, I'm here to learn. It is okay to lose. It is okay to make mistakes, because I'm not going to be an expert at first. You haven't been an expert at anything you've ever done. In the beginning, you will suck. But that's the beauty of it, because now you're wide open to learn. You're a fresh palate. You get to come into an industry where people are successful, and you get to learn and gain beautiful habits from the jump, rather than go through all that learning curve from trying to Google your way to success, YouTube your way to success, blowing account after blowing account. You can simply just say, hey, Tracy, do you think there's a way you can really sit down and show me how to do my risk management right? Because I'm taking too big lot sizes, or I'm working with this size of account. I want to figure out what's the best time for me to trade, because I go to school and I feel like I'm missing out on the movement. Okay, cool. Let's sit down and figure out what's the best trading plan for you. And now that works, right? You can't get that from YouTube. You can't get that from Google, right? You need somebody that can lock arms with you. And now guess what happens? You're developing a relationship. You can sit up and trade the London session with the team. You guys can communicate while the market's moving, because this is $5.3 trillion a day. I can give you a trade. Tracy can give you a trade. Willie can give you a trade. Dion can give you a trade. And now we all are profiting together, and we're all learning together. And listen, I don't know if you've ever done it before, but nothing feels better than when you're making money with your people. It's something about when it's a group of y'all all benefiting and profiting together. It is a magical feeling. I'm telling you, it's something. I've traded by myself plenty of times. I've been up late night London session, just all right. Let's try to, let's create some wealth, because to me it's boring now, because my markups are doing all the work, and I'm just waiting for retest, entry, profit, close out, good night. You know what I mean? But when I'm on my boys and, oh, bro, we 50 pips up, baby. Let's get it. I mean, it's more exciting, right? Because it's benefiting more than just me. Yeah, I mean, it's all about just locking arms with the right people and just being excited, guys. I don't want to take up too much of the time, because Tracy gave y'all some straight up jewels in here. But I just wanted to chime in and show you guys where things like engulfing candles and using these to market, even on higher time frames, right? Like if you go to a daily time frame, you find the engulfings. Now you can start working your way down to the lower time frames, like the 4 hour, the 1 hour, and then you can start finding those entries where once it starts breaking in and out of these zones, you get those retests. This is where you start pinpointing your entries, because you have that higher time frame where the banks are trading, the hedge funds are trading, because the banks and hedge funds don't really live down here on the 4 hour and hour. They live on that daily, weekly, and monthly chart. So now we know what they're doing on the higher time frames. The higher time frames dictate the lower time frames, because the higher time frames are where the big money movers are looking. Okay, and this is why you have to understand. Because some people say, "Well, I can just watch the minute chart. I know what's going to happen on the daily." Nah, I wish it worked that way, but it doesn't work that way. Higher time frames dictate the lower time frames. Like reading a book, you don't want to read a paragraph and get the whole story. You have to read the entire book. Go into that Daily, weekly, monthly is the entire book. You see everything. You get all the information. You don't go to an art museum and stare at the painting with your nose on it. You back up and get the full picture.
And Kurt, I'm just jumping on that, like just to bring some light to that. You know, like if I were to go down to the 15-minute chart, right? There's a lot of noise down here because we've got all this stuff going on. But if I'm on a 15-minute chart, right? You don't know from this that this is really an uptrend, right? That doesn't look like an uptrend on the 15-minute chart.
Yeah, because right now the market is overall trending up. We're still in an uptrending market, but right now you're like, oh, I'm going to take every sale I can find. And this is where the patient people take the money from the impatient people, because most impatient people want to come down to the lower time frames and find every entry. Now, don't get me wrong, you can scalp and make a substantial living in scalping. But if you understand where the overall movement is, you can optimize your scalping and know once I hit a certain level, I need to start paying attention. Like even right now, where you are on this chart, even on the 15-minute, you can see that your indicators are showing you higher lows are coming.
That's right.
Right now, as you already see a pullback starting to happen right at your level inside of here.
Mm-hmm.
So now you potentially can see this be the reversal zone, and now you may start seeing some divergence start to come across. And inside of here, like I said, when you have these zones drawn out and you know where your supply and demand zones are, now you can start really finding those profitable zones where my indicators are going to start paying me extra dividends now, because this is where they kick in the high gear, because this is where an absolute bottom could be or an absolute top may exist.
Mm-hmm.
And now I can find that entry where I'm wicks. I'm getting in at the wick, and all of a sudden,
that's right.
Like, dude, how did you get in there? The candle stayed there for all like a couple minutes. You in on that? Like, well, hey, entries were entries, right?
That's right. That's right. So, guys, I'm super excited, and Curtis, thank you so much for jumping on. Well, let me kind of move this out of the way for a second, and let's come back to let's come back to this right here. So thank you so much for jumping on and sharing some insight. Yeah, I hope y'all caught that about that engulfing candle, right? That is a major strategy. It took him like 5 seconds to say it, but I promise you, don't take it lightly. Okay. Do not take what he just said lightly, because that engulfing candle strategy is another way that you can have confluence, right? Or even confirm certain things. There's some people that just trade using the engulfing candle strategy itself, right?
Mm-hmm.
But like
right out, he does supply and demand, and that dude is a monster.
Who's that?
Oren Wright.
Oh yeah, Oren. Look, guys, if y'all not in IML and you're not checking out Oren Wright, you need to get whoever told you to come look at this video. You need to get back with them, and you need to look. You need to get in, and you need to start learning, educating yourself. We are not advocating that you're gonna get rich overnight. We are not saying, oh my God, come make $1 million. But what we are saying is that you have a much greater probability of doing that with having this information under your belt than more than likely what you have and what you know already. Because if you have not reached those levels of financial success that you want up to this point, it's something you don't know. It's just something that you don't know. It's simple. So let our educators like Kurt, like Oren Wright, like all the IML TV people and the IML Academy people and our swipe trades people, and the guy that helps us with created the web analyzer and the scanner and all that good stuff. Guys, let all of these tools and resources be at your beck and call, and stop trying to get rich off YouTube. Like, stop it. You're not gonna get the whole picture. Can you go on there and find a couple of videos, and in your mind, when you're thinking in lack, it looks like it's better to go learn a half a piece of something for free. But I promise you, as you go out there and you try to employ and execute what you learn, you will end up losing more money from not having the information than you would have spent initially to just go and get it. As my mother used to always say, you're going to pay now or you're going to pay later. And later is always more expensive. Later's always more expensive, right? And some of us don't get that, right? We have to experience it. Like, you got to keep hitting your resistance over and over and over, knocking your head off until you finally get the picture. And what Kurt, myself, and Shakita on here and Dion, what we're really trying to do is we're trying to give you that environment where you understand that you don't have to take the long road to success. You can actually get around the right people with the right mindsets who have access to the right information, and you can actually catapult and go have exponential results in the direction that you want versus taking all this time trying to save $145. Like, all the time you spend trying to save $145, you'll probably end up spending $3,000, right? If you add up everything. It's ridiculous how people view money in that way. And so I just wanted to share this with you guys today. We've been on a couple hours, so on and so forth. I shared some things I hope was valuable. Kurt definitely said some things that I hope was of value to you. And all I ask, I know, Kurt, all we really ask is that you take this and you implement. You take it, implement. I could be doing something else right now, right? Like charting up something. A couple swipe trades came out since I was sitting here on here, and I didn't get a chance to kind of go through them. But I also understand that there's always another trade. There's always another trade. Like, you miss it. I'm not over here sweating because I missed whatever that was. I'm going to look at it. I may not have even missed it. I might be right on time. But guess what? There's always another trade. You don't have to get rich on one trade. You don't have to try to pile up 40,000 positions on one trade. Guys, just take your time, learn as you go, and allow IML to help you earn while you learn. So any closing thoughts, Kurt, before we go ahead and give everybody their free afternoon back?
Yeah, I just want to tell everybody, like Tracey said, if you're on the fence and you're trying to, figure out what you want to do, that initial, sign up cost has got you like, I don't know. I'm gonna tell you 100%. I'm in the D. I wasn't wealthy when I first got in. Like, I mean, even now, like I'm building my wealth. But when I first got in, I was living off of like literally $600 a month. That was my income for the entire month.
And how long ago was that, Kurt? How long ago was that?
That was a year and 3 months ago.
See, not even that long ago.
Yeah, I mean, I couldn't even spell Forex a year and 3 months ago. Okay, I was at home playing Call of Duty and Madden and 2K in my underwear. Like, that was my life. I got shot back in 2005 in the face, bullet is still lodged in my temple, all of that stuff, and I had just given up. Like, I had a scholarship to play basketball. I was all ready to go. I was good to go. That summer, before I made it to to school to play, I got shot coming from a game, practicing with my friends. These guys were arguing in the parking lot, got to shooting. I caught a bullet right in the face and lost my scholarship, couldn't go to school. My mom was depressed. I was depressed. So nobody in the house was like, it'll be okay. We all in there doing the woe is me. Because we sacrificed so much just for me to even get to that point to go to school. Lost my scholarship, couldn't go to school. I was just done. My mom was depressed. I was depressed. So nobody in the house was like, I'm just doing what I can. We all in there doing the woe is me. Got on that side. All I was making literally was like, all I was was about $500 a month. And I mean, to live on $500 a month is scary. It's scary. I couldn't even scratch my neck without saying, is that gonna cost? Like, it was one of them kind of situations. So I was hustling here and there, what I had to do to make money. I was trying to keep money flowing. I couldn't even scratch my neck without saying, my daughter got a 4.0 on her report card. The kids, they get good grades. You take them to Toys R Us and they can do whatever they want. She ran down the aisleway just, I want all of this. And as she was knocking it over, I'm picking it up like, I guess we're getting it. And at that point, I had to figure something out because I had a whole lot more month with no more money. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, okay, something got to happen. I got to look into real estate. I'm looking up how to fix your credit. I'm looking up everything. Black folks, we try to find any and everything we could Google in the hood to get some money. And I couldn't find anything. I was tripping out. I was kind of like, getting scared. And I started looking at it. I found penny stocks. I was looking up all kind of ways to trade penny stocks. I'm thinking, okay, I watched Wolf of Wall Street. I'm like, okay, if he did it, I could do it too. And I got to looking things up, and I found Timothy Sykes. This guy was talking about how he took students and taught them how to trade penny stocks and this, that, and the third. And then I found out penny stocks is full of these things called pump and dumps, where they'll push a stock up, and then by them having all the information, they'll automatically snatch all the value out, and then you're stuck holding the bag because there's nobody on the other side to take your position, so you can't technically sell, which is one of the things I learned about the stock market, where if you're stuck in a position and nobody's on the other side to buy it, you can't sell out. You're stuck. You're stuck holding that stock. And it could tank, and you can lose everything you put into it, and you can end up owing them money if it falls too far. Like, it was crazy. I was like, and why is this better than Forex? Like, it kind of blew my mind. So I found out about binary options. Learned binary options. I understood that was a little bit scary because it was all based off of like expiry times. Like it can expire in a minute or expire in an hour. And then basically I was noticing that I would win trades, but right when it was about to close, the market moves would push the price up really fast. I would lose. And I was like, oh, this is rigged. I can't do this. So once I understood what Forex was, I was like, okay, I can start with as low as $10. It's not based off of expiries. I can get in, just dictate my entries and exits on my own. Okay. And I can start with a demo. I can use fake money until I'm ready. I was walking around the house doing a Jordan pose like, let's go. Let's go. I'm about to work this. I mean, you give me something I can practice, but I'm going hard, like a granite block. So I was like, all right, let's go. Got to work in it. And I was trading the demo, making money. I went live and I blew my first account. And I was like, okay, let's try that again. I need to put more money in. That's what it was. I didn't have enough money. That's what I started off with like 200. So we put in 5. I put in 500 and I blew that account too. And I was like, okay, I'm missing something. Let me get to Google. So I'm like, Forex Detroit, nothing. Okay, Forex information, nothing. It was nothing in Detroit that I could do to learn Forex. And I went on Facebook. I typed in Forex Detroit, and a picture of Lawrence and Tamara Young popped up. They were Chairman 10s at the time. I went to the IML meeting. I met Jewel Tankard, and people in there were doing their testimonies. Like they were, oh, I've made $500, and my trades last week. And I'm like, wait, what? I'm in the right place. Let me get my account back. I sat down. I understood what they were doing, and I was so excited because I was in a room full of people that wanted the same thing I wanted. I couldn't get that from my family. I couldn't get that from my friends. I couldn't get that from YouTube. I couldn't get it from Google. I was in a room full of people who wanted the same thing I wanted. I don't know if you guys are like Bible, fearing God-fearing people or Bible readers, but when 2 or more ask for something in his name, I'm in a room full of people. So it was like an emotional awakening for me. Like, I'm where I need to be. This was not by mistake. And I was so excited. I left my wallet at home. So I'm riding dirty. I couldn't even pay to get in. I'm like, oh, bro. I'm telling Lawrence, like, listen, I want this. I want to get in. He like, I done heard that before. You heard the whole spiel, and now you ain't got your wallet. I'm like, no, for real, I really want it. So I had to go back home, and I came out the second day because it was a 2-day presentation. And I get there, and Jewel's doing her thing. And mind you, it's a completely different presentation. So I'm like, you're not reading the script. You serious? This is like from the heart. Oh, I'm definitely doing this. And at that point, I got in. I started working the strategies, and I was understanding how the swipe trades work. And I'm gonna say this and be funny, but y'all gonna have to just roll with me. I got in back when Justin Adams was Justin Adams. Okay, he was the man. Like every trade was just boom, 100 pip, boom, 80 pip, boom, 80 pip. And I'm like, listen, if this what they was I'm never leaving IML. I'm gonna be an old man with gray dreads, like I'm putting in the swipes. Like he was like that. I was all in my zone.
Not the old man with gray dreads. Oh Lord.
He was dragging my dreads with the swipe trades, getting me in with the cane. Like I was all in. Justin Adams had me sold. So, but it was a part of me that still felt bad because I wasn't learning it. And I'm the kind of person where even in sports, if there's a need to be fulfilled, I want to fulfill that need. So when I understood that Justin Adams was doing this, I'm like, man. And it was funny because I had this moment where, okay, I want to learn it, but I want to start getting it from the people who are really doing it. I can't reach out to Justin Adams at the moment. Let me go on IML TV and start picking their brain. My first session, I watched Mike Miles. I fell in love. I was like, this dude is patient. He's explaining this to me. He's answering my questions. This dude's my new best friend. I can't wait to get on here tomorrow and talk to him again. And he was literally on every single night. He still is. So I was like, oh my God. I can come on here, get a relationship with this guy and ask him questions. He'll know me. He'll answer my questions first. So I got excited about that. And the company started to become more and more clear to me where this isn't about getting my little subscription money. They're really showing me something that I couldn't get somewhere else.
That's right.
Like I couldn't go on YouTube and talk to somebody and develop a relationship and them understanding my plight with wanting to get better. I started watching Daze. I started watching Christopher Garrick. I started watching everybody I could. And then after a while, I started getting that confidence. I started understanding things, and I was researching. I was using the harmonic scanner every day. My first 2 months, disclaimer, past results aren't indicative of future profits. But my first 2 months in the company, I started another $500 account. Mind you guys, all I was making a month from SSI was $500. So I've blown 2 accounts already with my money for the whole month. So it was scary on this one. Like, I can't do this the last time. My kids can't eat no more ramen noodles. It's a lot of sodium. So figure out.
Oh my God, that has so much salt in it, Lord. They can't do it.
Like bad dad all day. Like, listen, I can't be doing my babies like this.
That's right.
I got to figure this out. So I was like, all right, God, you sent me here for a reason. You plugged me into this company for a reason. I'm learning this. Things are getting clearer. I think I'm ready. I went live. My $500. I took $500 and turned it into $10,000 in 2 months. Now at that point, I was peeking through my blinds because I thought the police was gonna pull up. I was like, "Are you sure this is legal? Ain't nobody gonna come out. I can take this money and spend it." Like I mean, I've never made that much money legally that fast. So it was like, okay, yeah, this is serious. And then once I started making money consistently, I ran into that problem where if money was no longer an issue, what would you want to do? Mm-hmm. And my first thought was, you gotta let me work through that. Like I had a little moment. My first thought was, there's somebody out there like me that needs this. Mm-hmm. And in my city, it's some lost folks. So I'm like, I got to talk to some people out here in Detroit and really get them going, because I know what it's like to be in a situation where you have no hope. There's no rescue team, no National Guard, nobody coming. Mm-hmm. Right? It was just me. I don't have any family here in the city. So if I don't got it, my kids don't got it. Mm-hmm. So it was like, I don't know if you heard the story about the Romans, but when they used to go and fight wars, they would get off the ships, get on shore, and they would burn the boat. And that's a psychological thing, because if you don't win, ain't no going home. So at that point, I was like, oh, we burning the boat on this one. I'm going all in. And at that point, it just clicked. Everything just clicked. It wasn't like a pressure situation, but it was one of those things where you understand how valuable it is and why people make money in this industry, because they treat it like a business. They make money like a business. And people ask, well, how did you get so good, Kurt? How long did it take you? And I always say, if you treat it like a hobby, you get paid like it's a hobby. When was the last time your hobby paid you? It didn't, because hobbies cost money. So understanding that, it puts you in that mindset of, okay, let me treat it serious and I'll get paid like it's serious. And after that, things will start to click for you, I promise you. So if you're trying to figure out what the fastest way to do it, the middleman way to get in and make the money, and I want the quick route to just get all the information, it don't work that way. It don't work. You got to go through the losses. You got to go through those hurdles. You got to get hit in the stomach. Your account gonna hit you with a brick, and you're gonna have to eat it. And you're gonna have to turn around and smile and say, I understood that. I wasn't paying attention. Thank you. And you got to keep moving, because the market is never wrong. I'll be the first person. The market is never wrong. You need to understand what the market is saying for you to be able to get in and consistently make the profits. And if you're getting in and you're losing and you constantly chase the market, you're taking too many trades. Yeah. And if you're apprehensive and you're missing moves, you got to get out of that fear mode and get out of that place of scarcity and just start learning. And if you're doing with real money, you don't have a trading plan, go back to demo. You got to have a journal. You have to have a plan. You have to have a markup. You have to have an accountability partner, whatever it takes for you to start understanding how this market works. Because if you're trying to jump in and do it on your own, you put too much weight on your shoulders and it's unnecessary. It's completely unnecessary. When you have things like IML, you have these teams that are willing and waiting for you to say, well, I want it. Can you help me? It makes no sense to fight it. I get so confused. People say, oh, I just go on YouTube. Why are you digging a hole? Why are you digging a hole? You said you want to build a skyscraper and you here digging a hole. What are you doing? Let's start laying these bricks so we can get this strong foundation. You can quit digging this mud pit. Like, let's do this the right way. You know, like the way you do anything is the way you do everything. Start off with the right way and find mentors that already have what you want, and just go from there.
Kurt, let me just say this. I mean, this just gave me chills, literally, right? Because we're on here and we're just talking, we're just speaking truth, and we're just speaking from our heart. And I have a young lady, I won't say her name, but she just inboxed me, and she's 12:44, literally like 2 minutes ago, right? She goes, me and my best friend been trying to teach ourselves, and it's so much info, it's overwhelming. I want the help, right? It's like, just get the help, right? And quit fighting it, Kurt. So, I mean, what you're saying is people are hearing this. People are feeling this. People that have been doing this for a little bit and know that they want to learn it, but are struggling. Guys, you don't have to struggle. There's still a learning curve. You're still going to be, some nights you're going to be up, but it's so much better when you have a group of people where some of them know what the hell they're doing. Right? Two people fighting in the dark that don't know what they're doing. isn't going to help you, right? But, you know, we came in, boom, I met Kurt. Of course, I had all the IML TV stuff going on, but met Kurt, and Kurt came. He's not on our team, Team Take Profit. Shout out to you guys and the Dream Team. He came on, he started working with our team and sharing with us some things. And guys, we've been growing a little at a time, and people have been getting results, and we've been inspiring more people. And then we haven't had any trainings in a long time. And then after Vegas, he just jumped on. I couldn't even be on because I was helping one of my team members launch, but he jumped on just on Tuesday and shared some stuff. And Kurt, in our Facebook group, everybody has literally been like, everybody go back and watch that video from Kurt, because somebody put, oh, I implemented the strategy, and all I can say is wow, like from just the other day, right? And so guys, when you have people that know what they're doing, and you're in an environment like this where those same people are willing to share, that's a blessing, right? That's a blessing. How many wealthy people do you work for, have you worked for, or whatever, and they're not showing you what they're doing?
I just got one of my teammates. He over here right now. Let me check if I can show you this. I can't. He already showed me the profits. He just got like, bro, blue, all blue. I'm like,
all blue.
And that's from the strategy. Listen, the teams are open to help you. It's not about being selfish here. Like in Tracey, listen, I keep telling people I don't understand. It was divine. I was supposed to be in that hallway walking past you in Houston. Was it Houston or was it?
That was Houston.
It was Houston, yep. In Houston to meet you, because I see you on Facebook and I knew, I was like, that lady is a monster at marketing. I've seen her go crazy. Like your picture was all over Facebook when you started breaking ranks. Yeah. And people in the city was like bringing you up at meetings like, who's this Tracey lady? I was like, I don't know, but she going hard. Like, yeah. It was funny. You had no idea you was ringing bells out here in the beach.
No. And you know what? And it's so crazy because, and this is what I share with people. It's like, I got in, I'm a networker, right? I saw the value of IML. It made good common sense to me. So I got in and I started building, and we started breaking ranks, right? And then, Curtis, I got to it. Well, two things happened. The first thing is that the previous company I was in went out of business, which meant I had no more income coming in, right, to help me kind of get things going with IML. That was number one. So that kind of did a little shake move. And then the second thing was that I started attracting a lot of people that actually wanted to learn this skill. And oh, look, this Dr. Spiller calling. Hold on. We'll call Dr. Spiller back. But what happened was,
all day, boy.
Okay, look, we get all of us on. We the talkers of the company, right? We'll never, Facebook will have to turn off for us to get out. All right. But what happened was I realized that I needed to know a little bit more about trading, right? For me and my group of people. Now, did I have to have $1 million yet? No. Did I have to be, a master trader yet? No. But did I have to know a little bit more than what they knew so that I could lead? Yes. And so I went to work. And so I kind of stopped building for a little bit, not stop building, but slowed down because I had to pick up on my learning, right? To pick up on my learning so that then my learning could catch up with a little bit of my ability to build. And now, guys, when I go into the marketplace, I'm not just talking about how you can come in and recruit people. Now I can actually say to you, I know how to trade. Am I a master at it yet? No. But can I trade myself? Yes. Do I know how to analyze the charts myself? Yes. Can I take trades and be confident? Yes. Do I lose sometimes? Yes. Do I win more times? Yes. But I'm confident in all of that. And so now I can encourage people to get on board and follow what we're doing, because I'm not just a networker trying to sell you. I'm a networker that's selling you on a skill that I'm also learning and applying to my life and for my son and for my legacy, right? And I really, truly want people to be able to do that. And so now we're getting ready to take back off, right? We have to slow down to speed up. If y'all ever heard that before, you got to slow down to speed up. So we slowed down for a little bit. Now we're speeding back up. And now it's all the way to the moon on our trading and on our building, because I'm on a mission to impact a lot of people. A lot of people. Our company has a goal of 1 million. Our team has committed to 250,000 of that. So we have a lot of work to do. And it's like, if you're at church, right? It's like, this is the altar call.
Come on down.
Come on down. Accept them, right? Accept that you need help learning what to do with your money. And we can help you. Guaranteed. If I can't, I know Kurt can. If Kurt can't, I know somebody on IML TV can. If they can't do it, I know Christopher Terry can, right? There's somebody
Man.
There's somebody that can help you get to where you want to get to. And I'm just so excited to be amongst this amazing group of entrepreneurs. And you know, God-fearing people. So Kurt, I think we probably need to go ahead and get off because we can keep these people here all day, you know. And I love you. I appreciate you. Thank you so much for jumping on.
Yeah, no problem.
I'm gonna probably even put this on YouTube, even, right? And just kind of share this on YouTube as well. So guys, I hope you got some value tonight and today. Enjoy, and we'll see you at the top. Bye, guys.